Before we continue, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Are you tuning in from the US, the UK, or somewhere else in the world? We love hearing from you. And if you thought this was intense, just wait until you see what we have in store for you tomorrow. Another incredible story of courage and discipline is dropping at the same time, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. So, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay updated. Now, let's dive back into the action and see how this shocking moment unfolded. Disrespecting a royal guard? This clown learned the hard way. The afternoon sun hung low over the White House gates, casting long shadows across the polished pavement. Tourists gathered outside, their cameras clicking, eager to capture a glimpse of the ceremonial guards standing at attention. Among them stood Logan Pierce, a 25-year-old Marine, stationed as part of the elite guard unit tasked with maintaining order and protecting one of the most iconic buildings in America. His crisp dress uniform gleamed in the sunlight, every button polished, every crease sharp. His posture was perfect, motionless, disciplined, unwavering. A murmur rippled through the crowd as someone new approached. Someone who stood out. Dressed in a gaudy red and blue jester suit, complete with oversized shoes and a rubber nose, a man strutted toward the line of guards. His name was Danny Dazzle Foster, a 28-year-old prankster with a massive online following. His antics, pulling stunts on authority figures, disrupting public spaces, had gained him millions of views, and today he had set his sights on something new, making a White House guard break character. "Ladies and gentlemen," Danny called out, throwing his arms wide as if he were center stage. "Welcome to the greatest show on earth. Watch as I attempt to crack the toughest statues in Washington, D.C." The crowd chuckled uneasily, some pulling out their phones to record. Others exchanged wary glances, recognizing that this was no innocent street performance. Logan didn't react. His eyes remained forward, his expression carved from stone. Danny bounced around him in exaggerated movements, pretending to inspect Logan's uniform. "Wow, look at this guy, all serious, all stiff. Do you think he even breathes?" He leaned in close, peering at Logan's face. "Maybe he's just a mannequin someone left here." The crowd laughed nervously, but Logan didn't move. Danny wasn't done. He pulled a feather from his sleeve and waved it near Logan's nose, pretending to tickle him. No reaction. He stepped back and clapped his hands. "All right, folks. If tickling won't do it, maybe he needs a little wake-up call." From his pocket, Danny pulled out a small red ball, the kind that makes a loud squeaky honk when squeezed. He held it up to Logan's nose, his grin widening. Honk! The sound echoed off the iron gates of the White House, loud and ridiculous. The crowd gasped. Logan remained still, but something had changed. Though his body didn't flinch, his eyes, sharp and focused, locked onto Danny's face for the first time. It was a look that every soldier knew, the silent warning before action. Danny Dazzle Foster had played these games before. He lived for the attention, the cameras, the millions of online followers who cheered him on as he poked fun at authority. But standing in front of Logan Pierce, the White House guard who hadn't flinched at his antics, something felt different. The crowd's laughter had died down. Some people shifted uncomfortably, sensing a shift in the air. A few had even put their phones down, their amusement turning into unease. Danny, however, was too caught up in his own performance to notice. "Well, well," he smirked, taking a step closer. "I guess we need to up the stakes, huh?" With a flourish, he reached into his oversized pocket and pulled out a bright blue water balloon, its surface glistening in the afternoon sun. Gasps rippled through the crowd. "Uh-oh," Danny grinned, bouncing the balloon in his hand. "Wouldn't want our fancy guard here to overheat in that uniform, would we? A little cool-off should do the trick." Murmurs of concern spread through the spectators. Some whispered for him to stop. A middle-aged woman in the front shook her head. "That's enough," she said firmly. "This isn't funny anymore." Danny ignored her. He turned back to Logan, his grin widening. "Let's see if this gets a reaction." The balloon arced through the air, spinning toward Logan's face. Time seemed to slow. The water balloon twisted mid-flight, let droplets forming along its rubbery surface. It was inches away, ready to explode against the Marine's immaculately pressed uniform. And then, in a single, lightning-fast motion, Logan moved. His hand shot up, snatching the balloon midair before it could burst. The crowd gasped. Danny's jaw dropped. For the first time all day, Logan was looking directly at him, his grip tightening around the balloon. His movements had been so fast, so precise, that even the onlookers weren't sure they had really seen it happen. Danny took a half step back. Whoa, whoa, he stammered, trying to laugh it off. No need to get all serious, man. It's just a joke. But Logan wasn't laughing. His eyes, cool and calculating, held Danny in place. It wasn't anger. It wasn't even frustration. It was something far worse. Calm, unshaken authority. For the first time in his career, Danny Foster had met someone he couldn't shake. And in that moment, he realized he had made a serious mistake. Danny's heart pounded as he stared at Logan Pierce, the White House guard who had just caught the water balloon with effortless precision. The weight of the situation finally hit him. This wasn't just another harmless prank for social media. He had crossed a line. The crowd, once filled with laughter, had gone silent. People exchanged uncertain glances, some gripping their phones tightly, unsure whether to keep recording or stop altogether. Even Danny's cameraman, Zach, hesitated behind the lens, shifting his focus nervously between Danny and Logan. For a few seconds, Logan didn't move. He simply stood there, holding the unburst balloon in his gloved hand. His grip was firm, his eyes locked onto Danny's with the kind of unwavering intensity that made grown men hesitate. He wasn't angry. He wasn't flustered. He was simply assessing, calculating. Danny forced a chuckle, taking a small step back. All right, man, I get it, he said, raising his hands in mock surrender. You caught it. Impressive. We're cool, right? Logan didn't answer. Instead, in one smooth motion, he extended his arm and squeezed. The balloon exploded in his grip, sending a cascade of cold water spraying down his uniform, soaking his pristine white gloves and the deep blue of his trousers. A few people gasped. Others murmured, watching in stunned silence. Danny blinked. Okay, that's... Step back. Logan's voice was calm, firm, and absolute. He didn't raise it, but the weight behind it sent a shiver down Danny's spine. A flicker of uncertainty passed over Danny's face. He wasn't used to being ignored, let alone commanded. This was usually the part where security guards fumbled for words, stumbled over their authority, making it easy for him to turn the moment into another viral clip. But Logan wasn't flustered. He wasn't reacting like some rookie on his first day. Danny opened his mouth to say something clever, to diffuse the tension with a joke, but before he could, something else happened. A second guard, built like a tank, stepped out from the entrance of the White House. His gaze locked onto Danny in an instant, and he was walking straight toward him. The air in the courtyard shifted. The playful, prank-gone-wrong atmosphere dissolved into something else entirely, something serious. Danny took another step back. His mind raced. This wasn't part of the plan, and for the first time in his career, he had no idea what was about to happen next. Danny's breath hitched as the second guard closed the distance, his movements precise, controlled, like a predator sizing up its prey. This wasn't some rent-a-cop from a shopping mall. This was the real deal. Stay where you are, the guard ordered, his deep voice cutting through the tense silence. His badge read Agent Cole Turner, and there was no mistaking the authority behind his words. Danny barely resisted the urge to bolt. This was supposed to be a harmless prank, a funny clip for social media. But now, standing between two unflinching White House guards, drenched in the aftermath of his own arrogance, he felt small. The crowd, once buzzing with amusement, had thinned. Some spectators backed away, sensing that this was no longer just entertainment. A few, however, remained frozen in place, phones still recording, waiting to see how this would unfold. Sir, Turner continued, stepping closer, you just assaulted a federal officer. Danny's stomach dropped. Assault? It was just water. It was just a joke. His mouth went dry. Whoa, hold on. Silence, Logan Pierce cut in, his voice just as steady as before. He hadn't moved from his post, but something about his presence had shifted. He wasn't just a ceremonial figure anymore. He was a soldier, a protector, and Danny had just disrespected everything he stood for. Turner's radio crackled to life. Command, we have a situation at the main gate, a voice reported. Need confirmation on detainment. Detainment. Danny's mind spiraled. This couldn't be happening. He had pulled stunts before, gotten warnings, been kicked out of places, but never this. Turner's hand hovered near his radio as he awaited a response. For a brief moment, Danny considered running, but then he saw Logan's eyes, sharp, unwavering, reading him like an open book. If he tried anything, he wouldn't make it 2 steps. Then, the response crackled through. Affirmative, bring him in. Danny's breath left his lungs. Turner stepped forward. You're coming with us. Panic flared in Danny's chest. His feet refused to move, his mind screaming at him to talk his way out of this. But for the first time in his life, Danny had no words. As Turner reached for his wrist, the reality crashed down on him. This wasn't a prank anymore. It was a mistake, and one he couldn't take back. Danny sat in the cold, sterile interrogation room, his soaked hoodie clinging to his skin. The bright, fluorescent light overhead buzzed faintly, casting a harsh glare on the metal table in front of him. His fingers drummed anxiously against his thigh as he stole glances at the security camera mounted in the corner. He was in deep, too deep. The door clicked open. Agent Cole Turner walked in, his movements controlled and deliberate. He was holding a file, thick with documents. Without a word, he pulled out the chair across from Danny and sat down, placing the file on the table with a quiet thud. Danny forced a grin. So, I'm guessing I'm not getting a free t-shirt for visiting the White House? Turner didn't react. He simply opened the file and flipped through a few pages before sliding one forward. It was a printed still from a security camera. Danny mid-throw, the water balloon arcing through the air. You think this is funny? Turner asked, his voice calm but carrying weight. Danny swallowed hard. It was a joke. Turner's jaw tightened. Tell me, Danny, do you know the penalty for assaulting a federal officer? Danny scoffed. Assault? Come on, man, it was just water. Turner leaned forward. That just water was thrown at a member of the United States Secret Service, a guard who is trained to neutralize real threats. If he had reacted differently, if he had seen you as a potential attacker, you wouldn't be sitting here right now. Danny's heart pounded. Turner continued, You think these guys are just statues standing around for show? Let me tell you something. He tapped the file. Logan Pierce, the guard you decided to target, served 2 tours overseas. He's been in real combat. He's lost friends protecting this country. And you humiliated him, disrespected the uniform he wears, the duty he upholds. Danny shifted uncomfortably. The weight of Turner's words pressed down on him like a cinder block. Turner exhaled sharply, shaking his head. You wanted a reaction, right? You wanted clicks, views? He slid another paper forward. A legal document. Well, congratulations. You got one. Danny's blood turned to ice as he read the bold letters at the top. Federal charges pending. His throat went dry. He opened his mouth to protest, but nothing came out. Turner leaned back. So, still think it was just a joke? What do you think about what just happened? Should people who disrespect guards face serious consequences, or do you believe it was just a harmless prank? Imagine standing in their shoes, hours on duty, maintaining discipline, upholding tradition, only to be mocked for entertainment. Would you have reacted differently? Let's talk about it in the comments. Do you think the prankster got what he deserved, or was the punishment too harsh? Maybe you've seen something similar happen in real life. Tell us your thoughts. We love hearing from you, and your opinions help keep these discussions alive. Also, where are you watching from? Drop your country or city in the comments below so we can see how far our community reaches. And don't forget, we bring you another incredible story tomorrow, same time, same place. So make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you don't miss it. See you in the next one.